What up? Quick video going over order blocks. This is something that is important to know, but I don't really teach it because it usually order blocks become just areas of support and resistance. But to understand really what an order block is it's just a block of orders. So I'm looking at the screen, but my camera's there, so hopefully the volume and the audio coming from my mouth is all Gucci, but you guys will get it. So it's just a block of orders. So if you have like an area like right here, like I replayed the day back to 6:30 over here. So if we know we have the gold zone right here, we know that this could be what? It can be support or resistance, right? Price can come up to the gold zone, it can break through, go to the next gold zone, or it can reject and come down to this gold zone over here. So we got to understand structure. We got to understand why this area could possibly be an area of resistance. First of all, we don't really have to understand it because we have the gold zones. So all we have to know is that, hey, this could be an area of resistance or it might not be. But we'll look at things like the cross lines. Cross lines are going to be overbought over here. And we did this, right? When we were on live, I was squeezing this in so that we could see where we have this area that might possibly play as an area of resistance. So when we say order block, there's a block of orders that could possibly be sells, right? There's blocks of orders that when price goes up to it, it's going to trigger sells and then they'll drop price. That is what I always tell you guys to think about, right? The trickery of the brokers and the whatever, the market makers, if you want to call them that. But even just looking at yesterday's high is right here. What you got to think is, right? You think like a criminal. You think like them trying to steal our money. What's going to happen? And we've seen this a lot before. We see where price will push up really fast, trigger orders, and then completely drop. So that's all. We're looking at all the juice indicators and we're saying, okay, if we're going overbought, means we might be looking for a reason to sell off, which means if we sell off of this R1 area, then great, we'll sell off and we'll take some sells down over there. But to really understand the order blocks, that's kind of just it. And then you look for reasons why it might be an order block. So for an order block to form, what I always like to look for is I like to look for the quick volume push up, and then I like to look for the rejection. And same thing if it was coming from the downside, I would be looking for a really hard push down and then a candle that quickly rejects on the next candle. So this is about 6:45. So this was kind of like the area where I ended up taking my buy, right? I took the buy at like 6:30, stop loss under candle, and then price went up, and then I TP'd like someplace in this area over here. So once that happened, I'm already telling myself, okay, well, the buy is possibly done. We're going overbought, right? There's the order, right? Gold zone to gold zone. That's done. So for me, that was already done with that entry. Now I'm asking myself, as we're overbought, well, I'm sorry, my this is in the way. So right here, right? This is overbought, going overbought. Let me move my face back up. Here we go. So as we're overbought, we're asking ourselves once again, now that we're at the gold zone, are we going to break through or are we going to bounce and come right back down? So we watched this play out. I moved my stop loss into profit like right over here at the level to see if price would go past and beyond, right? If it went beyond the gold zone, then great, I'll make more money on this going up. But I'm smart and I'm safe and I move my stop loss into profit in case price wants to come back down. So watch what happens here on the next candle. Boom. Price comes right back down. So big volume push up, all of a sudden volume coming back down. That already, I'm looking at it and I'm saying, hey, that could possibly be an order block right there. Why? Because it's an area where price rejected many times, all over here, all in this area, making sure you guys can see all that. All in this area, we know price came up to it, drop, 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 drop. Yesterday's highs dropped. So at a bare minimum, we're just telling ourselves, yeah, price might drop from this area. But what is the order block? The order block is just made by those quick movements that push up and then down. And if it's down, then a quick push right back up. So right here, I'm already like, okay. And you guys saw me, right? Live. I draw it out. I just draw out a box like that. We can adjust it as we get more data, but that's just it. And I'm telling myself like, yeah, what could price do now? Price could do this. It could possibly come back up to this order block and then drop. Or it could break right through. And then that would say that this order block is null and void. But we keep it there and we take our entries. Like I did take another entry, right? So let's look for my other entry because I did take a buy up after everything kind of like wedged for a moment. Over here, I'm seeing this little downtrend form. I'm like, okay, that could possibly be that right there. Maybe there is an uptrend right here. And that's where we were like, okay, we're in a wedge. We're going to be patient. And we are playing it out. And as we start to get this volume pushing up over here, this is kind of where I'm like, okay, yeah, this might be a good time to possibly look for the continuation. Why? Because if you're a juice member, you know our perp. Price is above perp. If price stays above perp, the likelihood of price going up is pretty high. But even if price goes up, we cannot be blind to this order block that's here. Because what could still happen? Price can go to it and then drop. So let's play that out. I think at this point I had gotten into my entry looking at the doji. You guys know I like dojis because dojis mean I don't know, which means the next candle could possibly mean intention on where we want to go. So play it out. That's pushing up. That's where I had entered in. Boom. There we go. Stop loss underneath. And then I was just looking in this area. You know, I was telling myself if price wasn't going to break above, then I am going to exit. So price heads up a little bit. Boom, right there. So at this point, I'm already moving my stop loss into profit. Kind of like here in this area. You guys can't really see it, but I'm telling myself if this is an order block, price could come back down. But if this order block is not valid, then it'll just continue up. So I still take my buy because we are above perp. And I believe in price still going up. But I'm not stupid, right? I'm not stupid. I'm not going to just blindly hold on to this entry hoping that it goes up, right? What do I say? Hope is the killer of all dreams. So as price is going up and I still see this order block area, let's see what happens, right? Boom, price comes back down, gives us a little doji. Once again, we get a doji. What does a doji mean? Doji means I don't know. So I don't know if price wants to go up. I don't know if price wants to go down. All I do know is that this could be an order block, which means price might want to come down. Play it out. Boom, we already got some volume. You want to take this volume out of this order block, and then we got perp right here. You could do that. You could take the sell right now. Take the sell right here. Stop loss above the candle that we enter in on. And let's just see if price stays underneath perp, right? This is what happened today, right? I'm not making no BS up. This is the strategy. This is what we do every day. Play it out. Price comes up a little. Price comes down. Price kind of figures out what it wants to do. This candle here at 855 finally gets us back underneath perp. What happens when price goes underneath perp? The likelihood of price staying under is high. If we break this gold zone, the likelihood of us coming down to the next gold zone is high. So what happens from here? We're already at the gold zone. We're still underneath perp. Boom. At this point, we're already stop loss going to be in profit here at the gold zone. Now we're looking at gold zone down here. Maybe you might want to put a TP down here like at this level-ish area. Play it out. Winner. So remember, these order blocks and areas of support and resistance, it's kind of a 50-50, right? Like we don't know it's going to be an order block, but it also is something that we don't be afraid of. Because I was in this entry for the buy, right? I was in the entry for the buy to go up. If this order block was not valid, then price would have gone up and I would have stayed in it all the way up, right? But I was in close enough to perp that I could get into profit at the level and then a profit. Price comes back underneath perp, breaks underneath perp, breaks underneath the wedge, breaks underneath the gold zone. Price stays underneath perp this entire time. So that's it, guys. That's all the order block is. It's just an area that there could be in a block of orders that end up being an area of resistance or support. And the other day, let's find it. The other day here, I think it was right. Oh, right here on this day. So on this day right here, this was Thursday, and I'm going to keep this short so that the video is not too long. So as price pushes up right here, gives us this big wick to the top. Right here. Possible order block, right? Why do I think it's a possible order block? We've got the high of Asia. High of Asia, high of London. Previous day high. This whole area could be an area where there's blocks of orders of sell orders. Because what does price do? Look at it. Price comes down, rejects back up right to the bottom of the order block, drops back down, comes right back up to the order block, drops right back down. I don't really teach the order blocks because it is just juice strat, right? If we look at this right here, juice strat just tells us it's the high of Asia, high of London, right? Put a horizontal line right here. Look at that, right? Price comes down here, back up to Asia London high. Comes down, back up to Asia London high, drops. It's all just structure, guys, right? I think it's more important that you guys focus on structure and then add these other things like the order blocks and things in there. So, but I make this video now because there's a bunch of you guys asking me what exactly are the order blocks, and that is just it. It's just blocks where there's orders where there's blocks of orders. It could be sales, it could be buys. It just really depends on what we're looking at that moment. So these that we were looking at were sell order blocks, right? Price goes up, trigger sells, drop. Remember, just think like the criminals. Think like the guys who are trying to take our money. They are not in the business of us winning. They want us to lose. So remember that, you know? Think like a criminal and you guys will be good. I fully endorse that. So those are order blocks. That was today. Juice strat, normal entries, gold zone to gold zone. Price gets underneath perp. Price drops, goes gold zone to gold zone again. That's the juice strat, baby. If anybody has any questions, hit me up. Much love. Juice strat, out.